just how well you can hear me. Before I fired up this machine, I was having a lot of anxiety. I don't know if it was the memories that were triggered that calmed me down a little bit or what, but all of a sudden my nerves kind of course I got a little coffee too, but so that might have played a part. But anyway, coffee, welding machine running, cooler weather. But I mean, what was going through my mind was just, that's why I say memories that were triggered. Being on the pipeline right away, how peaceful that can be, because you're just out in nature, and it's more simple or whatever. Like, it's, whenever I was pipelining, I very rarely felt rushed, and I had a job to do. I knew what my job was, and I just focused on that. But I don't know, I'm not sure why, but I just had to turn on the camera and share with you how I was feeling just now, and how the sound of this welding machine and this welding rig, and like how much it's, I don't know, like how much of a history I have with mobile welding and pipeline welding, and I don't know, it's just, I just got this sense of calmness whenever I decided to just stop what I was doing and let this thing warm up. That's all I was doing. I was letting it warm up. So I didn't have anything. I'd already got all my leads rolled out, and I was just like, you just need to hang out, let this machine warm up. And so I just did. It allowed me to just take a minute and breathe. And then I just started getting memories of being on the pipeline, and just how simple of a life that is, you know what I mean? But very rewarding, because there's a lot of buildup to be able to get to that point on a pipeline job. You know, you got the initial phone call, the job is 10 hours away, 15 hours away, so you got to pack up the camper, get everything ready, get everything tightened up around the house, and then head to the job. And then you got to find a campground, and then you got to take your test. Once you get past your test, that's whenever the ease sets in. You're like, all right, I can breathe, time to celebrate. Now it's time to go to work, you know? And so there's just a lot of build-up to it. So that's why it's so rewarding. But the job itself, I mean, it's stressful enough because you're worried about passing X-ray on every weld. And then, of course, politics, you know, getting along with co-workers and stuff. But it's like, there's just something about welding out of my welding rig, man, that just makes me feel calm. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna have to sit down and write about it, write a little email, a little newsletter, so y'all can read about it. I can express myself more in words when I'm sitting there quietly, especially after a moment like this. I can think about what pipeline weld means to me, and what this welding rig means to me, and why all of a sudden I got calmed by the welding machine idling and leads rolled out, cup of coffee. That's mostly all I can think of right now, is just all the memories that come to mind. Because it wasn't just pipeline welding. I mean, I can get this same feeling on, like, welding in a, you know, welding at a location like a shop, or you know, on something structural, but just the pace of it, you know, like the expectation of just like, take your time, do it right, take a break, take lunch, you know. It's like that even kill pace, you know, like there's enough time, usually. Seems like more times than not, when I'm welding out of this welding rig, I have in my head that I have time to do the job right, and that just sets my heart hard at a calm rate, you know. It allows me to enjoy my craft, if you will. Anyway, I just had to turn on the camera and share that with you. So I really needed this slow down. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Learn something every day. One of the things my buddy Leo and I noticed during the second branch workshop that we put on there in Cushing, Oklahoma a few weeks ago was that a lot of us feel rushed on test day, a pipeline test, because we feel rushed because the guy next to us is a step ahead of us or starts to go faster on their test, and we kind of internally we don't even know it. I don't think, a lot of us, we don't even know it, but we start to feel stressed and behind because this guy's moving faster, or maybe we don't want to lose, or whatever that looks like. But either way, by allowing those around us to influence our pace and what we're doing, we start to cut corners. And those cutting corners lead to a busted weld test, which leads to not making the $3,000 or $4,000 a week that you can potentially make as a pipeline welder. I say all that to say, if there's anything I've learned over all the years that I've been honing my craft as a pipe welder, as a pipe fitter, it's that it pays to slow down, enjoy the time, but also do the job correctly to begin with, no matter what's going on around you. I try my best to not be influenced by others on test day, specifically talking about the branch workshop. And because at the end of the day, in my opinion, you can have 2, 3, 4, 5 different right ways to do something. The way I do the branch may be different than this guy, but we both have the end result. Whatever method we take to get there, as long as we're doing each step in that method the way that we know and we feel comfortable with, we're going to end up with that same result, right? But what we don't want is to get in a hurry and start to cut corners on our own method. Now, it's possible that you could have a method that isn't right, which is what the branch workshop is for, the hands-on learning and whatnot. It's very helpful for that as well, because you may have been struggling with the branch. We had an attendee at that second workshop that had taken several branch tests over his pipeline career, and he had busted several of them. That's why he came to the workshop. So it's possible that your technique needs work as well, but I just wanted to use that as an example. You know, at the end of the day, if you feel comfortable working by yourself and you feel comfortable about the end result that you're getting with whatever you're building, but then whenever others are around and you start to feel rushed and you notice that influence is causing you to cut corners, that's how we know that we need to put blinders on. This is why I love these in-person workshops. I just learned so much from them. The next workshop here in Spearfish, South Dakota, we will be focusing more on that slowing down mentally and not being influenced by those around us on test day, just because I feel like that's so vitally important and could cost you a lot of money. So if you want to be a pipeline welder and you have your own welding rig, I want to invite you to the next in-person workshop. It's going to be held in Spearfish, South Dakota on May 3rd and May 4th. So head on over to AROSSWELDING.school to check it out. Check out if you're interested. If you have any questions, you can send them to me at arosswelding@gmail.com, or you can text me at 405-643-7176. Looking forward to seeing you there. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.